Hi there, this is Brennan with LiteOutdoors. We're making a quick video today showing you guys how to put together your stove for the first time. Also, I'm going to give you some tips along the way here. So I want to start out by explaining the gloves. I wear these really thin rubber gloves, and not so much to protect me from cuts, more so to keep my fingerprints off the stove. When these stoves are new, they're nice and shiny. They have a mirror finish. Your fingerprints show up extremely easy on them. I like to keep everything clean. All this stuff goes out to customers. So when you get it, I want it to look good. I do recommend wearing gloves in the field though. This titanium foil is pretty thin. The edges can cut you. They're almost like little paper cuts. Also, after you burn the stove once, the inside of the stove is going to have soot, so might as well keep your hands clean. So let's get started. So this is how you're going to receive your stove. It's going to come in 2 bags. In this bag there is a front and a rear plate, as well as all the hardware that you need, such as cable rings, stainless steel rings, legs, damper, etc. In this bag we have the stove body, a stove baffle if you ordered one, the stovepipe itself, as well as some titanium rods. So we're going to open this bag first. Three titanium rods. We're going to pop these rings off. We're going to let it uncoil. Okay, so inside here's our stovepipe. We're going to set that aside. I have a separate video to show you guys how to roll the pipe for the first time. Here's a stove baffle. We're going to set that to the side. And this is your stove body. We're going to get the plates out. And we need the 4 legs and the big body cable rings. Everything else is for the stovepipe. I'm going to set that aside. So how we start is we take the rear plate, it's the plate without the door, and we set it face down. We're going to grab the stove body with the hole for the stovepipe towards the bottom. We're going to place that on the plate. We're going to grab some rings. Now a tip here is to hold the stove body where it overlaps with your 2 fingers, and from here you could make the stove body bigger or smaller. It really helps when you're putting the rings on. At this point, this is where we're going to insert the stove baffle, if you have one. I'm going to go to the end of this video and show people how to put the baffle in, the instructions. For this part, I'm gonna continue on for those people that don't have a baffle. So we're gonna take the front plate and we're gonna set this in, and we're gonna put the leg into the notch first, and then the rest should just roll in. Just like so. We're going to take our titanium rods. We're going to put one on the bottom. Tighten it till it's snug. I'm going to put 2 on the top, on either side of the stovepipe hole. And now we're going to insert the legs. Okay, we're going to even out all of our rings. Here. They are crossed. There. When you're tightening the rods, you don't need to go too tight. You just need them to be snug. If you go too tight, you're gonna start to see an indent around the hole. And that's too tight. Your stove is going to start to get all dented up. I'll show you. That's the dent that, I don't know if you can see that. You don't need to be that tight. You just need it to be snug. And there you have it. That's pretty much it. When you put the titanium rods on the top, it's best to be on either side of this hole, and I'll show you why. When you do end up having your pipe, you want this damper to rest on the rods, like so. If these are too far apart, then this is going to rest on the body of the stove, and with the weight of the pipe and the heat, it's going to flatten out the top of your stove. It's not a huge deal, it's just aesthetics, but these rods are made to support the weight of the pipe. They're also made to support the weight of a pan or a pot full of water. So there you have it, that's pretty much it. We're going to go back a step and we're going to show you how to insert a baffle if you ordered one. So if you ordered a baffle, this is the point where you're going to install it into the stove. If you put the top plate on, the front plate on, and try to install it, it's not going to work. You need to do it before you put that plate on. There's a couple different ways that you can set this up, depending on what kind of a burn you're looking to get. You can set it up the normal way, like so you'd have the stovepipe hole towards the back of the stove, and then you'd have the hole in the baffle towards the front. I find people are having more trouble with smoke leaking if they set it up like this. The air coming into the stove is conflicting with the air trying to get to the front and up. So I'm going to show you how to do it the other way. Now it's a little bit backwards, but it works a lot better. So we're going to put the stovepipe hole at the top towards the front plate. And we're going to put the body onto the plate and put the rings on. Now we're going to put the baffle. And when you look at the baffle, there is a large indent on one side and a small one on the other. So we're going to put the large indent down towards the back of the stove. And that's going to go in like so. So you want to have a peek in there, and you want to get the edges up against the plate, and this is going to follow the curvature of the stove body. And it'll fit between the plate and the stove body itself. Like so. Now this part can be a little bit tricky for the first time. After you burn the stove once, this is all going to take the shape of the stove like it's supposed to. But your first setup, it's going to take some coaxing. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to slowly wrap it around. I'm going to reach inside, and I'm going to make sure that baffle is in between the stove body and the plate. There we go. Okay. So we're good on both sides there. We're going to close the door, and we're going to put the rods on. Then its legs, and we're done. So, what this does is it's going to set your stove up so that the air comes in through the bottom. It's going to hit your fire. The smoke and gases are going to come to the back of the stove, come up, come back to the front, and then out your pipe. You can set it up a different way with this pipe at the back of the stove and the gap in the baffle to the front. It's gonna cause a slower burn. Some people are having some issues with it leaking smoke when they set it up like that. So try it both ways, see which way you like better. The other way, the smoke or the air comes in through the bottom, hits the fire, it comes up, it comes to the front, up to the back, and then out the chimney. So that's the differences. I like this way better myself. It's just not, it's not the stove that people are used to seeing with the pipe in the front of the stove instead of the back. Okay, so that's how you set up your stove. Remember, have these rods close to these stovepipes so that the stovepipe rests on the rods and not on the stove body. It'll protect your stove body from damage due to that pipe resting on the body itself. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email. My email is brennan@liteoutdoors.com. You can also go to my website, www.liteoutdoors.com. There's a contact us page, and you can send us a message that way. There's also a whole bunch more videos, reviews, and stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.